You like your hair white?
I think I want it. I think I like it white.
Very stylish.
Yeah. I'm just very mature.
Mature boat builder, Eric.
Oh, yeah.
I guess the only thing the three of us all really have in common is Bowdoin, which is a small college on the coast of Maine. So far, we've had a pretty typical college experience. My name is Eric, and recently I've been building boats with Dick Pulsifer, another Bowdoin alum. A lot of my friends wonder why I'm interested in wooden boat building, especially my two friends Lucy and Rita.
We each wanted to know the attraction of building wooden boats in this day and age.
Who is doing it? What are they building? And most importantly to each of us, why?
So we decided to make a film in our last year of college about wood, a boat, and a charismatic builder, Dick Pulsifer.
My relationship to wooden boat building started with my interest in spirituality, or simply a curiosity in what it means to live a fulfilling life. 3 years ago, I was one of the students who interviewed candidates for Bowdoin's first Director of Religious and Spiritual Life, and it was then when I met Bob Ives for the first time. It struck me that Bob used to be a wooden boat builder. Growing up in a big city in China, I haven't even seen a wooden boat, not to mention someone who made it. I was curious as to what Bob's experience in faith had to do with wooden boat building. 3 years later, Eric introduced me to Dick Pulsifer, and I thought maybe I can find an answer at Dick's boat shop.
I think initially I just wanted to see what was getting Eric up in the morning. I've known Eric for 4 years and he has never been a morning person. And so when we first went out to the boat shop, I guess I was just curious.
Yeah, you're real close.
Maybe he's trying.
I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah. Firm hand on the wheel.
What are you doing?
Trying to do the same.
Touching something that isn't wood.
Is he close to the water?
Like right on the water. Yeah, per usual.
You walk into the boat shop and it's just filled with tools and nails and everything to manipulate wood and make these beautiful boats. It's great.
After helping Dick out in order to finish his 110th Pulsifer Hampton, we started cutting the strips that would form the hull of number 111. Luke Salvato, another Bowdoin grad, started working in the boat shop, so Luke has been out there every day helping out Dick.
Coming to the boat shop, the smell of the sawdust, it's just beautiful. It's organic, it smells like nature, so different from what you smell at Bowdoin.
back at school.
Don't you like the smell of the sawdust?
I basically am building the hull with these strips of pine wood that are bent and planed to create the angle of the hull. And then you sort of fit them to the last piece and then nail them on and glue them on.
I'm a visual arts major at Bowdoin, so I've worked with wood and sculpture and in painting, and I just walked into the shop and was like, this is a place where you create things. And that's what Dick does. He creates beautiful boats, and he's created the same boat 111 times. Basically, since he was my age.
I am Dick Pulsifer. I am 74 and a half years old. We've lived here since 1970, lived in Maine since 1957, went to Bowdoin, class of 62, and of course fell in love with the area. Seeing the fishermen toiling and spinning in their small boats then in the late 40s and early 1950s, and messing about in boats, little boats, rowboats and things like this. This is perfectly logical for me to be doing this. And in the early 70s, the wooden boat renaissance started. Right about that point, I had acquired an early Hampton and put an old marine engine in it that I had. And that fostered this whole legacy. That was the boat that has launched 111 vessels, if you will. And a friend wanted a boat similar to that, so we figured out how to build one right here, and worked evenings and weekends and stuff on it, and one led to another. And in '74, I started doing this full time, and really have never looked back.
Do you think we could ever figure out how to do one of these bars? Like,
This is the filler.
if we were just starting from scratch.
How to build one of these?
Yeah.
I don't know how he did. I don't know if he had someone teach him or if he...
Because, like, I think there are more wooden boats now than there were in, like, the 60s.
Oh, really?
And when he first started building is when they first started coming to back into action. Yeah. We were just trying to see if we could remember how to mix the Bondo. But we didn't care.
You do. You know how.
But it was this stuff that you used for that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And take the tube that is least full, the one at the end of the bench. That's white. There's some other stuff here. Okay. Put it on a big wide putty knife. What you're really doing is trying to revive the apprenticing aspect of learning, where you're working with someone. There you go, and stir that up really well. Not getting yelled at much, no books to look at, but just, okay, this is what we're going to do. These are the patterns, here's the oak. Figure it out. I think what appeals to people from the Bowdoin environment is the physical aspect, something to do, something to create.
The reason why I work with Dick Pulsifer, I went abroad the first semester of my junior year to Zanzibar, Tanzania. And my first day there, I went out to the beach because Zanzibar is famous for their beaches. And as I was walking, I stumbled upon this group of guys working on a wooden boat. Something clicked in that moment, I guess. And I ended up finding a boat builder on the southern tip of of Zanzibar, actually on a separate island.
Sawa, ndio nimefahamu vizuri sana. Asante sana.
And he was willing to take me on. So while I was working with this guy, I spent a lot of time helping him on his boats that he was mostly fixing. He also helped me build smaller models of wooden boats just to kind of bring back home, and also because I wasn't going to be able to be there for a full boat, he wanted me to see the full process.
Kwa sababu mtumbwi siye watu wa zamani wakaunda wanaanza juu, unianza wapi? Chini.
So I made these kind of smaller projects, which was really fun. It kind of made me feel like a little kid working on these things. So basically I, got hooked on wooden boats in Zanzibar and came back and kind of jumped right back into it, but in a totally different setting here in Maine. Mike Woodruff, who's the director of Bowdoin's Outing Club, told me about Dick Pulsifer. I asked Mike if he would introduce me. We went to Dick's house, and he ended up just sitting down with me and letting me ask him questions for probably 45 minutes to an hour about wooden boat building in Maine. And at the end of the conversation, he asked me if I wanted any hands-on experience. And I'm not really sure, but I would imagine that my face just kind of lit up in that moment.
Thank you, Dick.
Good night.
Good night, Dick.
Good night. Luke, good night, Eric.
Good night. Are you still feeling tired?
No.
No?
I'm
Good.
like so
Rejuvenated?
energized. Yeah.
That's awesome. It is a pretty, rejuvenating thing, I think, to go out there.
Yeah.
That would be awesome, though, that we got to talk to the owners of this new boat on Saturday.
Yeah. Where are they from?
They're from Gloucester, Mass. So so that's pretty far from here.
Yeah.
It's amazing that they know
Dick.
about the Pulsifer Hampton. But he definitely has, there are plenty of Pulsifer Hamptons down there, I think, already.
It's like a network.
That's exactly what it is.
Well, I'm Bob Cunningham, my wife Giggs, and we live in Gloucester, Massachusetts, where hull number 111 will eventually be on a mooring. Part of the whole fun of doing it is being involved, even if it's a relatively token way, in the construction, seeing the different stages and working with the master here, who has been at it for a long time. That's been refined in small ways over the years. So, the engine's going to be in just the right place. The balance is going to be just right. The boat's just going to go through the water beautifully.
Do we have a name yet?
We think so, yeah.
We may have a name.
Okay. What is an option?
Snapshot.
Good.
That's what we're thinking about.
Good.
We're looking for some
Did
more
we say anything bad, Dick? I don't want to get you into trouble.
I'm blushing. The best part of this is the people. The owners, the helpers, the daycare members. It's remarkable.
I'm the daycare member.
You're whatever. Daycare. Yeah, that's great. Snapshot.
Okay, so my name is Michael Woodruff. I'm the director of the Bowdoin Outing Club, and I graduated from Bowdoin in 1987. Someone told me that there was this Bowdoin graduate who lived out on Muir Point and built wooden boats. I called him, and I asked him if I could talk to him about being an apprentice. I think he was slightly hesitant about this whole idea, but he fortunately decided that he would take me on. So he was about 50. Yeah, and I was about 25. Yeah, he was my age now.
What did you used to call Mike?
Roughwood.
I've started calling him that.
I once put some lumber through the thickness planer that had a sheetrock screw in it. So if you look at the planer bed, there's this big gouge where that screw went right through. Dick didn't even like shriek in horror or anything. For a lot of us, that's how we learn best, is just doing it, right? And trying it out and screwing up and figuring out how to do it, right?
Oh, God, look at you. What preschool grade did you miss? It's supposed to come natural. All of them. You were homeschooled. There, you see?
Well, look at this. Here's preschool.
That's preschool. That's putty spreading. After all, this is daycare. So
Yeah, exactly.
that's what you should entitle the film.
That's what... No.
You want to?
That's what I was thinking.
Bowdoin Daycare. Okay, now go way down to the end. So you'll get all these valuable skills and go off into the world and never use them. There, go for it.
Hopefully I'll find some way.
When we first came out to the boat shop, I would see them working, and it always looks like everyone's working so diligently. They're all just hammering away, and like it really looks like an oiled machine. But then the more you begin to like recognize the steps and recognize when they're done wrong, you can recognize when they screw it up. What's the biggest thing you messed up in this boat?
Do you want him to tell you or me?
You, maybe.
No, he hasn't done anything wrong. Another one. I broke a strip.
You broke a whole strip?
Yeah, it broke right here. I take it off and put another one on. Things happen like that.
As Eric was saying, you know, you can't really mess up a wooden boat that much. You just fix it.
What are you guys up to?
We were doing our diaries.
Oh, can I watch one?
No.
You guys watch me.
Eric, you don't have to do a diary.
I know, but I want to watch one.
Okay, you can pull those nails now.
That's a short one?
Long one.
Long one? Oh yeah, it's way better.
And if we were going to try to make frames out of this, you'd be hard pressed because it's too small a piece, too small a tree at this point. But those guys.
So is this a bigger tree?
Oh, it's huge. And that's the edge piece.
Oh, it's the edge. I was gonna say.
That's what the slices were like. Okay, push and pull at the same time, gently. And move your foot up. What you're really doing is bending on these so-called medullary rays, which connect the living, vigorous tissue on the outside of the tree with the interior, and that gives the wood the ability to flex. And as you can see, we've got some strong angles. If you try to bend the wood, if this were a board and the grain were going across, it doesn't bend as well. It's much more brittle, much more rigid. Frame lesson.
Frame lesson. Nice.
You can't do it alone. Two people can do it. But the boat's about, in terms of time, about halfway finished. We start doing entirely different things. Filling holes with Bondo. Working on the top hamper, the deck structure. We'll give her hell until Tuesday or Wednesday next week, and then put her on a trailer and take her to Portland.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you want to build boats when you grow up? You like the wooden boats or the fiberglass boats?
No, I like the wooden boats.
You like the wooden boats? Why? How so?
I love them. I don't know.
You don't know?
Yeah.
You just like it?
Eric at the boat shop is very different from people on the campus.
Oh.
People on the campus, they're always rushing.
Oh.
There's a sense of indifference to many things when you're focusing only on efficiency and profits and money and success. That's a totally different pace and temperament in at Dick's boat shop.
The Mahatma Gandhi had a wonderful expression. He said, "Haste is violence." Haste is violence. And indeed, when you're building boats, you can't hurry up. You can't hustle. You can't speed up. Otherwise, it takes a lot of patience and thoughtfulness as you put the wood together, as it comes together in that type of way.
There was this one project I had to do in a painting class one time where we had to pick a work by a famous artist and copy it. It was a really daunting project. I remember thinking I was never going to get it done. But we just broke the painting into pieces and you just did it really slowly and methodically, fixing your mistakes as you went along. And I realized that boat building is the same process. You start from the bottom, you go piece by piece, and when you make mistakes, you just fix them. And when you work like that by hand and really slowly and carefully, and you have this incredible product at the end, like a beautiful boat, it's just incredibly satisfying work.
So boat builders, from my personal experience, especially wooden boat builders, are not people who go into boat building for profit or for making a lot of money. But there are very, very contented and very people who feel that they have lived a very meaningful life, and they have pursued things that they love to do.
Only 1 week away from our Bowdoin graduation, and about 2 weeks from the completion of Hull 111, Dick brought the three of us to a special place. The barn that holds almost 40 Pulsifer Hamptons. My time working at the boat shop has had very little to do with learning to build boats. I've continued to try and help Dick in any small way I can, because each trip to his shop has been a chance to escape campus and learn from someone who's really worth paying attention to. Coming in here is almost like graduation for us.
Yeah.
Just like what does it feel like when you come in and see all of these, and I don't know, also in the context of almost finishing 111.
The sensation of coming in here is sort of one of pride. Coming out in its light.
Anything else you want to convey to the world about your experience, either?
It's joyful. It's worth getting up for every morning.